Race is a social construct, but the color of your skin? That's objective. While race may be something society created, the shade of your skin is a physical reality. So, how do we make sense of something that's both socially constructed and deeply influential in our lives? First, let's talk about what a social construct actually is. In simple terms, a social construct is an idea that's been created and accepted by society. It's not found in nature, but it's something that people collectively agree upon and give meaning to. Take nations or countries, for example. Lines on a map that we've all agreed represent borders. These lines don't physically exist in the world, but they're real in the sense that they influence how we live, where we can go, and even who we consider our allies or enemies. Now, let's apply this concept to race. While race itself is a social construct, it's based on certain physical traits, like skin color, which do exist objectively. The way we categorize these traits, however, is what's constructed. For instance, the concept of race as we know it didn't even exist until the 17th century, when European colonizers began classifying people into different racial categories. These categories were often based on superficial traits and were used to justify everything from slavery to segregation. From a genetic standpoint, all humans are 99.9% identical. The tiny differences that do exist are not neatly divided along racial lines. In fact, there is often more genetic variation within a so-called racial group than between different groups. For example, two people of African descent might be more genetically different from each other than either of them is from someone of European or Asian descent. This shows that while race is based on physical characteristics like skin color, these categories don't have a significant genetic basis. But here's where it gets complicated. Just because something is socially constructed doesn't mean it lacks significance. Social constructs, while not based in biology or nature, carry real weight in our world. They have non-arbitrary meanings that influence our interactions, our laws, and our identities. Think of it like this. A pencil is a socially constructed object, meaning we've agreed on what it is and what it's used for. But that pencil isn't a car, and it can't be a car unless we all collectively decide to redefine it. If we did, the word pencil would have to mean something else, and the object we used to call a car would need a new name. The point is, the pencil we're now calling a car can't suddenly become a tree. Social constructs have specific meanings that, while not objectively real, are not arbitrary either. Race functions similarly. We may have constructed the concept of race, but once defined, it takes on a specific role that can't be easily changed or ignored. It's a category that affects how people are perceived and treated, and it has significant social implications that can't be dismissed as mere fiction. And yes, I know what you're thinking. This concept applies to another topic that's hotly debated today, but that's a discussion for another video. I can make a dedicated video diving deeper into social constructs and the common misconceptions people have about them. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. Remember, guys, what matters is the person, not the color of their skin. And if you have any preferences in any aspect of life for certain skin colors, that doesn't mean you're racist, as long as you don't think of any race as inherently morally superior to another.